and it'll just fire them up to put on an even better show.
Here we go. The main event of the 2015-16 Australian Junior Sedan title for Pepsi Max is not far away. Plenty of noise as we get ready for 25 big laps, and oh, look at the colour around the track. It looks brilliant. Let's get this one underway. 20 of Australia's best cars have made it to the Australian final over 25 laps. Brendan Leroyd and Matty Smith will lead them into the main straight. We're racing. And a great start on the outside for Matty Smith. They're 4 wide down the main straight, and Brooklyn Vanzetti got a great start on the outside as Jacob Jetson. They're 3 and 4 wide out of turn 2, and 2 of the West Australians nearly pulled themselves undone. Travis Armstrong and also Jacob Potts out of turn 4, the first of 25 circulations. It's Matty Smith in front, Brendan Leroyd in second place. On the outside in third is Artie Jonick. On the inside is Brooklyn Vanzetti. Jacob Jetson is fifth. The yellow lights have come on, and Jacob Potts from Western Australia has stopped here in the main straight. And we have done 1 lap apart from him. What a hectic start. Just for the record, there's 8 charades out there and neither 12 Datsuns or Corollas. Restart coming up. Yellow lights have been extinguished. 24 laps to go. Pace starts to quicken. The green lights are activated. We're back underway. And Matty Smith in his last Australian final, as is Brendan Leroyd in second place, lead them down into turn number 1. Brooklyn Vanzetti comes underneath of Artie Jonick, and Vanzetti makes the first move. Here comes the next move. It's coming from Todd Atkins from Victoria. They're running 3 wide. Jacob Jetson's gone high, wide and handsome, but got plenty of drive out there as well. Holds on to that position. Atkins and Armstrong side by side. Back then to the next car through was Harry Ross. As they still 2 and 3 wide further back. Brock Atkins had to button off as Harry Ross got sideways, and Brock Atkins, the Australian champion's gone back a couple of spots as they move into the main straight. Here comes Leroyd, goes underneath of Matty Smith, who fights on the outside. Right behind them is the West Australian Brooklyn Vanzetti and Artie Jonick. They've skipped away from Jacob Jetson, under 3 wide down the back straight for 5th place, as it's Travis Armstrong on the inside of Jetson, and in the middle was Todd Atkins. Atkins goes back to 6th, Jetson to 7th, Cornwall back to 8th. There's plenty of action on the race. 3rd and 4th is still up for dispute. It's Vanzetti and Artie Jonick side by side. That's for 3rd. 5th and 6th is still side by side. That's Atkins and Armstrong. Side by side for the lead between Smith and Leroyd. The margin is .147, and I guarantee in 20 laps the way it's going, it'll still be .147. Here comes Leroyd, goes to the inside. We've got a car spun. There's a car spun up in turn 4, and the yellow lights have come on, and it's Brock Atkins, the Australian champion, has spun up there in turn 4, or was pushed, I'm not sure, didn't see it, but so there may have been a penalty applied. I don't have communication with the stewards, but Jetson is 2 positions back. The green lights are coming on, they're away. The national final has 21 to go. Smith, Leroyd and Vanzetti get away. Right behind them is Artie Jonick, and then Travis Armstrong. Atkins in 6th place. It's a fly down the back straight. Harry Ross makes a move on Jacob Jetson as they come out of Pitts Bend and into the main straight with 20 to go. And it's a ding-dong battle out in front. There's 0.4 of a second separating the top 3. Leroyd just does the quick lap of the race. Leroyd now moving onto the inside of Matty Smith. Todd Atkins goes underneath of Travis Armstrong. There's nothing separating these charades into the main straight. Smith, in the only non-charade in the front 6, is under immense pressure from the 9 car of Brendan Leroyd. Back in 3rd place, Brooklyn Vanzetti, as again Leroyd ducks to the inside. Smith on the outside, half track high. Smith still in front. Artie Jonick and Vanzetti have it coming together. Jonick into 3rd, every which way but loose further back. It's Smith from Leroyd, a gap back to Jonick and Vanzetti. 1 car's up against the fence, that's Maddie McGee, she's going back through the field. Jonick, Vanzetti, then Atkins and Armstrong. Behind them it would be Cornwall, McGee. McGee's going back, then Ross, Brock Atkins, Jacob Jetson, Jake Havens. It's still anybody's race, there's still door handle to door handle as Maddie McGee retires with a flat tyre. On the inside it's Brendan Leroyd. On the outside is Matty Smith. Leroyd back in front. 16 laps to go. Artie Jonick third. Todd Atkins, the 13-year-old driving the race of his life, is up to fourth. Brooklyn Vanzetti to try and fight back, his fifth. Then Travis Armstrong. Out of Pittsburgh they come again. Still side by side, Leroy and Matty Smith. The margin's .201. Artie Jonick is 0.9 of a second behind, but closing. Back then to Atkins and Brooklyn Vanzetti. Armstrong is sixth. Cornwall, Ross, Jake Havens, Brock Atkins, then Cooper Gregg. Into the main straight, Brendan Leroy looking to do better than he did 2 years ago when he led until 4 laps to go. 18.259 for Leroy. Gets out by 3 car lengths now as the 93 car gets crossed up here in the main straight. That's Shannon Marsden. Into the main straight, another lap put together. 12 down as the yellow lights come on. It'll be 11 down. We've got a car spun, and it's the 17 car of Todd Atkins. Sorry, it's not go once again. Brendan Leroy to lead them into the main straight. Matty Smith in second place. Artie Jonick third. Then back to Todd Atkins as the greens are activated. And the first to make a move is Matty Smith. He's gone wide, and that's allowed a couple of car lengths to separate him and the leader, which is Brendan Leroy. So here comes Artie Jonick. Jonick, a bit of a hip and shoulder there. Jonick goes into second place. Underneath of Matty Smith now also goes Todd Atkins. Atkins to third. Smith's gone back to fourth. So Artie Jonick is out after a race leader. So Smith has gone from first to fourth in a few laps. Brooklyn Vanzetti also in the lead group. Down the main straight with 13 down and 12 to go. A new quick lap of the race, 18.257. The margin is 0.8 of a second back to Artie Jonick. The Australian champion is starting to make his move. He's now up to 8th place as he goes underneath of Harry Ross. Out of Pittsburgh they come again. 14 down, 11 to go. Oh, trouble between 6 and 118. The two West Australians, Travis Armstrong, Brooklyn Vanzetti's car has stopped in the front straight. He's got going now, and we've got another stoppage. He could still get there. He's going as quick as anybody else. A dozen laps left. They're all stacked up behind Brendan Leroy. Good start for Leroy. Todd Atkins in second place. Matty Smith in third. Fourth place, Artie Jonick, then Armstrong in fifth. Cornwall, Ross, Brock Atkins. Behind Brock Atkins is Cooper Gregg, then Angus Hollis. A couple of car lengths separating the lead 2 cars at the moment. Leroy starting to open up a bit of a gap down into turn 1. Todd Atkins, Matty Smith, Artie Jonick looking for a way through. Back then to Travis Armstrong and Harry Ross. The Australian champion gets up to 7th place now. That's Brock Atkins. The only problem is he's starting to run out of laps. There's 10 to go. Down the main straight, Atkins gets a great run. That's the Australian champion under Harry Ross. Goes into 6th place as they move out of turn 2. He might pick up another one here. They're 3 wide, Harry Ross and also Travis Armstrong. Armstrong's gone in very heavy, and the Australian champion's up to 5th place. What a drive by Brock Atkins. He's up to 5th, Armstrong back to 6th. Cooper Gregg is 7th. Meanwhile, there's not 8.5 laps left to go, and Brendan Leroy is out in front. Todd Atkins in 2nd place. In 3rd place, it's still Matty Smith, and then Artie Jonick. The inquiry flag is coming out to add a little bit more spice to the race, and it's going to, I think it's either Cooper Gregg. I think Cooper Gregg's just got the inquiry flag. That's with Travis Armstrong. The battle for 3rd and 4th is starting to intensify. The 2 Queenslanders, Artie Jonick in 4th, Matty Smith in 3rd. 3 wide for 6th, 7th and 8th. Armstrong, Ross and Cooper Gregg down the main straight together. Brendan Leroy has the race won with 7 to go. This is one of the biggest margins in junior sedan titles. He's out by 1.5 seconds. Out in front, it's Brendan Leroy with 6 to go. 2nd place is still that of young Todd Atkins. Matty Smith, Artie Jonick, then the Australian champion is next. Then it's Harry Ross, Cooper Gregg, Travis Armstrong is 8th, then Ricky Cornwall. Jackson Lunt is the next car. 5 laps to go in the Australian final. It's Brendan Leroy still out in front. 1.8 seconds the margin. There's a heavy traffic jam for 6th place onwards. The first 5 are well clear. Cooper Gregg looks like he may have run out of noise or run wide. He's lost a lot of ground. It's Brendan Leroy's Australian title with 4 to go. I don't think they'll catch him. Brock Atkins is giving great pursuit on 3rd and 4th. Matty Smith is 3rd. Artie Jonick still all over the back end of Matty Smith. 5th place Brock Atkins, then back to Harry Ross. Into the main straight, count them down. 3 laps to go for Brendan Leroy. Todd Atkins is driving a brilliant race. The youngster from Hamilton in Victoria. Artie Jonick still hounding the back end of Matty Smith. And Brock Atkins wringing the neck out of the 1 car, trying to get on terms with them. The laps are ticking by, there's 2 to go. 2 to go in the Australian final, and Brendan Leroy's out by 2.2 seconds. This is a big margin in junior racing. Second is Todd Atkins. Here's a go. Here's a go now by Artie Jonick underneath the Matty Smith, and Brock Atkins is coming into it. That's for the minor placings. Matty Smith's gone back to 5th. Brock Atkins, the Australian champion, storming home. He's into 4th, challenging for 3rd. But there's no doubt about it. Come on, race fans, up on your feet. We've got a new Australian champion. In his last year of junior racing, it's Brendan Leroy from Queensland. He's first home. Second is Todd Atkins. A blanket go. Jonick and Atkins and Matty Smith across the line together. What a finish. What a finish for... Oh, we've got a dead heat. We've got a dead heat for 4th. Artie Jonick is 3rd. It's a dead heat for 4th. Matty Smith and Brock Atkins have dead heated for 4th place in the Australian final. Their cars have gone every which way at the end. Brendan Leroy is the Australian champion. Todd Atkins 2nd. Artie Jonick has got 3rd by 0.126 of a second over Matty Smith and Brock Atkins, who have tied for 4th. Harry Ross, Travis Armstrong, Ricky Cornwall, Jake Evans, Caleb Lincoln, then Daniel Johnson, Jacob Potts, Angus Hollis, 14th was Jacob Jetson, Brooklyn Vanzetti, Alice Dickinson, Shannon Marsden, Jackson Lunt, Cooper Gregg, and Manny McGee is the only car that retired. Put your hands together for him, the new Australian champion, Brendan Leroy. But the sensation is we have a dead heat for 4th.